I have a passion for helping people. And as an MMA coach, my idea of helping people is not through technique, it's through life.
The night of October 6, 2018, Conor McGregor, Khabib fight in the ring. Tell me about that night.
And as soon as the fight was signed, I said to Khabib, okay, listen, they're dirty, he's gonna come after you, stay relaxed, you gotta beat him at work. If you look at all the interviews, Khabib checkmated him on every step of the way. So here we're going into the fight, and the first round he hits with that overhand right that we were working on. It's called pop special. You set it up, you fake, and you go over like going into the person, overhand, boom. And Khabib hit a perfect overhand right.
Do you think he's the greatest fighter ever in the UFC?
He's dominated everybody. Who in the UFC history of champions has had that resume? And he retired early. For me, he's the greatest.
Talk to me about the second big moment of your career, which was Cain Velasquez.
So he was doing some sparring with one of my world champion kickboxers. The kickboxer kicked him in the head. As soon as he got kicked in the head, swooped in real quick, gently put him down. And he got kicked again. This time, he picked up, boom, he slammed him on the ground. I was like, oh my God, this guy, something special. He showed you, you're gonna kick me because I don't know how to kickbox. I'm gonna do this to you. Now you kick me again, now you got the message.
Cormier comes in and he's learning all this stuff from Cain. And Cormier has that wrestling background as well.
He completed us. And it wasn't until I trained him for the first time that I watched what he did in sparring, like he's been doing it his whole life. That's when I knew he was gonna be a champion.
What are some of the things that you've learned by coaching some of the best that people can use in their lives?
Don't let anybody tell you you can't. Have desire, have love. If you don't love to train, why are you training? If you don't love to go to work, you better figure it out. I love what I'm doing. I love coaching. Is it because it's gonna make me a lot of money? No, every MMA coach will tell you out there, we make no money. We do it for love. And the ones that aren't doing it for love, you're not gonna find success. You gotta love what you're doing. Stay relaxed, calm, control. Have a clear mind. Don't let somebody put you in the corner.
The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go?
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is...
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Javier Mendez, the world champion kickboxer, trainer, and coach. You are the founder of ISKA, the American Kickboxing Academy, one of the most respected and successful MMA training camps in the world. Before becoming a coach, you had a very successful fighting career of your own, twice being crowned the ISKA World Kickboxing Champion in 1992 and 1995. As a UFC trainer, you've overseen the careers of 11 world champions, including Frank Shamrock, BJ Penn, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Islam Makhachev. In 2015, you became the only trainer to have 3 concurrent UFC title holders in Cain Velasquez, Daniel Cormier, and Luke Rockhold. You believe ISKA remains the #1 gym in the world of MMA, and alongside Team Khabib, will become more dominant than ever. Javier, welcome to London Real in Dubai.
Thanks for having me in Dubai, not London where it's cold.
I know, and I want to talk about why you're here later, but I want to jump right into it because I sent you a video over the weekend and asked for your 3 greatest moments as a coach, and you came back with an amazing 3. But I want to dive into the one that probably all of us remember, and I want to know what it was like from your point of view, and that was the night of October 6, 2018. It was the Conor McGregor, Khabib fight in the ring, and then, of course, the big fight afterwards in the ring.
Yeah.
Tell me about that night, and why is that one of your biggest memories ever?
Well, that one was my biggest memory ever because one of the 3, and it's because of what led before that led to the fight. And as soon as the fight was signed, I said to Khabib, okay, listen, he's going to come after your family. He's going to come after your religion. He's going to come after your country, okay? He's going to come after your manager probably. He might even come after me. I'm not even sure about that, but he's going to do that. You need to stay calm. You still need to stay relaxed. He's using the art of war tactics. They're dirty, but he's going to do them. He's going to come after you. Stay relaxed. Beat him everywhere. Beat him everywhere. You got to beat him everywhere. He did that. He beat him everywhere. Everywhere. If you look at all the interviews, Khabib checkmated him on every step of the way. So going into the fight, the whole idea was what I call father's plan, which is basically, Khabib's best at grappling. No one I've ever seen in that lightweight division is better than him at grappling. So I wanted him to use father's plan type mentality, and that was grapple.
Father's plan.
Yeah.
His father's plan.
His father. His great father. Yeah. The greatest trainer, his father. So I said, hey, stay on father's plan, please, blah, blah, blah. So going into the fight, of course, Khabib does that the first round, but then he feels comfortable because people don't understand Khabib's stand-up has only been trained by me and on my gym. He doesn't train in Dagestan with stand-up with nobody. He never did. The other guys, Islam, Umar, all the other guys train with other trainers at home. He wouldn't train with nobody but me. So his improvement on stand-up was limited because it was only through me. So, when I first met him, he'd come 2 months out of the year. So his stand-up was limited. So a lot of people were thinking, oh, he can't stand with Conor. He can't stand. But, the fact of the matter is, I kept telling everybody, you guys don't understand. Don't look at his last fight. He's getting better every single time because he's still a rookie. And nobody really fully understood the concept of that. But I did because I knew what I had. And I watched him in the gym destroy everybody, like when the first time he came in. But he was destroying people on stand-up too, which he wasn't at the beginning. At the end, he was. So here we're going into the fight. And the first round, he does exactly what I wanted him to do. And then he hits with that overhand right that we were working on. That overhand right we were working on in the back room, and we were working on for the longest time. It's called Pop Special, overhand right.
Pop Special.
Pop Special. So that's from my coach, Walter Carvalho. That's his favorite point.
You set it up in a certain way?
Yep. Okay. You set it up, you fake, and you go over, like going into the person, overhand, boom. And Khabib hit a perfect overhand right. So after that, the third round, Khabib was like, oh, I'm going to stand with this guy. And I was like, pulling my hair out, like, oh, what are you doing? And if you watch the third round, it was very close. Arguably, they gave it to Conor, but arguably could have gone Khabib's way.
Right.
Okay. So fourth round come up, and I said to him, I go, hey, let's go back to father's plan, So long story short, he did everything right. The fight was over. I'm happy as hell. We did what we were supposed to do. We beat the bad guy that was talking bad about us all the way, religion, your family, your wife, everything. Called his wife a towelhead, you did all the dirtiest things in the book.
Trying to give him alcohol.
Trying to give him alcohol.
Right.
Showed up late for the press conference, and Khabib beat him there too because Khabib said, Coach, I'm going to do my 15 minutes that I'm supposed to do. If he's not here, I'm gone. I don't care. I go, what do you think? I said, that's perfect. And then she shows up on stalking late, and Khabib's not there. Like, he had to be a professional himself and do his job. The crowd was pro 80%. McGregor fans, I would say, 100%.
It was in Vegas.
It was in Vegas, but it was definitely pro McGregor fans because we got
fly all in.
We got booed everywhere.
Did any of the stuff Conor was doing get to Khabib?
I didn't think so.
Okay.
I didn't think so.
Would you know if it did?
I didn't think it did until the end of the fight.
Right.
Then I'm going, holy crap, what the hell? So what happened is after the fight was over, I'm like happy. I turned around and I'm giving everybody a high five. All my buddies, they were in the back, right in the front row. Right. I'm like, yeah, you did it. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. And I hear this commotion and I turn around and and then I see somebody flying over the cage and it was Khabib. And I'm like going, oh no. I'm like going, oh boy, we're in trouble. I tried to run up there. The police stopped me from going in the cage because out of anybody that could have probably stopped him right away would have been me. But they let Daniel Cormier and Luke Rockhold in there, and Daniel calmed them down.
Okay.
But I tried to get in there. They wouldn't. So I'm like, shoot. So I'm like going, oh boy, we're in trouble. So,
right.
Dana wouldn't put on the belt. Would not put the belt on him.
Jumps over. He's talking to Dylan Dennis, right?
Yes.
He's yelling at Dylan.
Yeah.
Because Dylan was also talking a bunch of smack.
Yes. But Dylan was talking smack from the beginning. But what people don't know is this is the thing, he wanted to get all of them, but Dylan was the younger of the two, and he said his father would have killed him if he went after John.
After Kavanaugh.
His dad would have killed him. Because it's an elder. He's an elder. You can't detect an elder. So he would have to Dylan for that reason and that reason only.
Okay.
Had John been 20-something, he would have went after him.
But Kavanaugh was never taught.
He was never.
But he was part of the crew.
But he was part of the crew. So to him, he was part of what they caused. So so I didn't realize that he was angry until after the fact when he showed the anger he had for him. So he had a lot of dislike for what was going on. Yeah.
And so he chokes McGregor out. McGregor's like, it's just business, or he said something like at the end. And then Khabib was still mad, jumped over, and then everything kicked off. He went back in the cage, and then
he went back in the cage. Dana wouldn't give him the belt, and we had to be escorted out. They were cussing us out, throwing beer at us. Everything was going crazy. Khabib goes, "Coach, I'm so sorry. And I said to him, I go, "Don't worry, something good's going to happen out of this." But I'm thinking, what? In my mind, what good's going to happen out of this? We're done. So next thing you know, 10 minutes later, he's never spoken to Putin. Putin's never called him when he won the title. Even Conor was at a football game, and Conor was with Putin, but Khabib wasn't. It's like, Khabib, were you with Conor at this? He goes, "No, Coach, I didn't see him." I go, "But Conor was there, and he got to meet Putin. Why didn't you get to meet Putin?" Well, after this, because of what he did defending his country, Putin called him and he said, "Thank you, congratulations, thank you for defending your country. Tell your coaches they did a great job." So things from that point got better. Not with the State Athletic Commission, because they fined them in total $1 million.
Really?
Yeah, he paid the whole $1 million for his partners too, his teammates that did things. He paid the whole $1 million.
Because the teammates jumped in. One of them caught Conor
in the head with the phone.
With the phone. Oh, it was the phone. Okay. Right. There was quite a few people throwing punches.
Yeah. And Conor got Abu Bakr, Khabib's cousin. They both up on top of the cage, and Conor popped him in the eye, gave him a black eye.
Right. Okay. So he threw a punch at him.
Yeah, he
Conor
threw a
caught one on the side.
Conor got one on the side. So Conor got two people. Conor got Abu Bakr, and he got Zubaira. Zubair was walking around, looking around, and he ran into Conor. Boom! He got hit by Conor too. So it was a fiasco that I was thinking, how are we going to get out of this? We're in trouble. But as it turned out, it was a great thing for him because of why he did it. He didn't do it because of any reason other than defending his religion, his country. I mean, as a fighter, I wish fighters would stop. Like, hey, I have a fight with you. You and I are going to fight. I'm going to talk crap about you. Let it be about me and you. Why are you including my wife? What does she have to do with it? What does she have to do with any of this? What did my country have to do with this? What does my religion have to do with this? But no, these guys have to attack those things. And those are big no-nos. Yeah. If we're going to be a professional, let's me and you fight. You want to talk crap about me? You want to talk about I can't punch? You want to talk about I'm a cokehead? Whatever. Who cares? That's fine. It's legal, in my opinion, as a fighter. But when you're talking about my wife, what has my wife got to do with it?
They're just looking for an advantage, right? Yeah. They're looking for a psychological advantage, and it works so many times. Conor's the king of it. Yeah. He did it. I mean, Jose Aldo was the first. He really got inside that guy's head, and he probably made a mistake, and it cost him the belt and cost him everything.
Well, he made the big mistake with Khabib on that one, because that was because Khabib was fueled every day. Every day, I would tell Khabib, remember, he's coming after your family. Remember, he's coming after this. You got to beat him. I would need you beating him every step of the way. We beat him now. We beat him later. But we want to beat him now. Yes, coach.
So some fighters can use that and train harder and be better, and other fighters can use that and get defeated, and it makes them emotional in the cage. And a lot of people that don't train martial arts, that maybe just watch it, they don't understand that you can't be angry in the cage, right? Or can you?
You can be angry, but there's only a short period of time that you're going to keep that anger in your cardio up. Now think about what I'm just saying here, okay? You're a NASCAR driver, right? Or Formula One, right? And here you are, you're going around the turns and you're stepping on the pedal all the way through. At some point, you're going to run out of gas, while the other ones that coast where they need to coast are going to make that. And you'll run out of gas. They're going to coast because they're not going to step on the accelerator all the time. So it's the same thing on the fighting thing. And on top of the fact, when you get angry, you tighten up. And when you tighten up, you're spending more energy. You hit not as hard as you think you were hitting.
Right.
You hit less. So if you don't learn to relax, you're going to expend your energy. So if you get angry, that's going to expend more energy. That's why one reason, the biggest reason. The second biggest reason is you're going to make mistakes.
Right. Bad decisions.
You're going to make mistakes, and that can cost you. But it has worked to people's advantage. They have used an anger to win fights.
Right.
You've seen that.
Get it done in the first round.
Yeah, they get it done. They get it done. Yeah.
Okay, probably more early days. And that, just to wrap up the McGregor-Khabib thing, I mean, that had started even years before, because McGregor had taken the trolley and thrown it through the bus. And I mean, this was years in the making. I mean, it was a lot of drama. Probably sold a lot of tickets.
Yeah, that's what sold the tickets, because the UFC is a marketing genius at what they do, and they hype that up. And what happened is his training partner Lobov, he had said that he called Khabib a chicken. If he ever seen him, he's going to slap him. So Khabib just happened to see him
in the hotel
when he fight for the title, some of the hotels. So he went over there and he slapped him. It was not what. And then you got to understand, Khabib's got all his guys right behind him. They weren't going to jump in, but it didn't matter. If you're Martin and you only got two guys with you, and this guy's got an army behind him, you're thinking, oh man, I do something, I'm in trouble. He would have got smashed by Khabib anyways. But regardless, you got to see that scenario, right? So he went and slapped them and like, hey, you got something to say to me? Let's go. Otherwise, shut your mouth. Don't talk about me. Right? Which is the right thing. You insult someone on the thing. Well, you can't expect that guy to look at you and go, oh, it's okay. No, you called me a chicken. You're going to smack me when you see me? Here I am.
Is that Pakistani thing a little bit?
I think it's a man thing.
Okay.
I think it's a man thing.
But
As a man of honor. Maybe amplified. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe because he's Connor's guy. But I think that's an honor thing. You're going to call me a chicken and you're going to call me names in front of the media. Well, here I am. And I'll do it.
Send a location.
Yeah, send me locations.
That's what Khabib used to say.
Yeah.
Location if you want to fight.
So that's what happened.
So he slaps Artem. Connor sees the video, jumps in a private jet with his boys and flies out to Vegas.
Yeah, he fights. He tries to get all the guys recruited to go over there, and a lot of them came, and he went nuts. And he went to the press conference or whatever he went to, and I didn't go. So I wasn't there. I never really go to those things. So next thing you know, I look at Connor, he grabbed the dolly, and if you watch him, he's thinking about throwing it before he threw it. So he was thinking, so he wasn't completely out of it, but he threw it probably because of the rage he had going in there to try to defend his buddy, So, but, that led to a historic fight, and that led to history, and that turned all these areas, the Arab countries and the Muslim world onto MMA. So it was a huge push for MMA, but it was also a huge push for Khabib and for me also, because I didn't realize that my name would have gotten so big because I was his coach. There's things that define you, and I'm not defined by all my other accomplishments. I'm defined more by being Khabib's coach.
And probably because of what happened that night.
That intensified it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That what happened after the fight that night.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how it works?
Yeah, it's crazy how it works. Yeah.
Wow. And so then all of a sudden that kind of explodes. Was that the biggest pay-per-view of UFC history?
Biggest pay-per-view in UFC history. One of, I believe, the third or fourth in all pay-per-view history. It was
including boxing.
2.3 million. Yeah, including boxing. But Connor has the most pay-per-view views. The actual money was Pacquiao and Mayweather, but the views was Connor and Mayweather.
Okay.
And then I think third one, might have been Holyfield and Tyson, I think.
Okay.
And then Khabib is either the third or the fourth most, paid.
Well, what do you make of McGregor when you look at him from a coach's perspective? You've been in the fight business for decades. What do you make of him and then him now?
When I first saw him, I was so impressed with him. I was so impressed with him. I remember Luke Wackold was telling me that, I'm so relaxed and fighting. I go, no, you're not. I go, you're not relaxed. And this is with Connor, when he's doing all his damage, when Eddie Alvarez and Chad Mendez and Jose Aldo, those were those times, right? And I said, you want to watch someone that's really relaxed and knows what he's doing? Go watch Connor. I go, that guy's super relaxed. I go, and then Luke goes, okay, I got you. He saw it. He goes, he saw what I was talking about. That he was at one time an incredible fighter. After the Khabib fight, he was never the same. And whether the money got to him, whether the defeat got to him, I don't know. He was never the same. And he became a It's just a person I don't like. I don't like him. And he's never said nothing bad about me other than to hype up his coach. He called me a fat arse kickboxer. It was a compliment. I was fat, so he called me a fat arse kickboxer. I can't get mad at what he's telling the truth. So I'm like, well, yeah, I am fat. You know, I'm a little less fat now, but back then I was fat. You know, so he just said, I'm just a fat arse kickboxer.
Okay. And nowadays, you don't really like it. You don't.
The reason, I'll be honest with you, the reason why I don't like him, this is the number one reason. He said, COVID good, father evil. That's when I drew the line. I said, okay, F you. The whole world suffered because of COVID, and you think you're such a star that you can say those words? I don't care how you meant it, you said it.
He said what again?
COVID good, father evil.
Father evil.
Yeah, meaning Khabib's father is evil, COVID's good.
Really?
You know, yeah. And it was in retaliation to good versus evil type thing, meaning he was evil, which he was. The things he does are evil. Nobody can deny that. Who's going to deny that? I mean, what person in their right mind asks somebody for an autograph, the guy says no, throws a drink at him? What person in their right mind is sitting at a bar and asks a guy to take a drink and the guy says no, and then you cold cock him on the side of the face? Is that a nice person? I don't care what anybody says. That's not a nice person. You know, the man didn't want your drink. You should have left him alone. No, you chose to punch him. No, I'm sorry. Not any good person is going to do that. So I don't think he's a good person.
You've trained a lot of champs, but do they all have a bit of a screw loose? Some of them? Do you have to have a screw loose a little bit to be a champ?
No, you don't have to have a screw loose. Khabib doesn't have a screw loose. Islam Makhachev has no screw loose. You know, Cain Velasquez didn't have a screw loose. Daniel Cormier, yes and no. I'll give him a 50-50. I would say no. Luke Rockhold, Frank Shamrock, no. Frank Shamrock didn't have a screw loose. Frank Shamrock was driven.
Okay.
You know, so I don't think so. I think the more the champions that I've had, they had their act together. King Mo, I would use all my other guys. Yeah. Kung Lee, all my other guys, they had their act together.
What about when you get magnified in the media so much and you become such a big deal and you saw all those pay-per-views? I mean, does that do something to someone's head?
Yes, it does do to some of their head. It does change them. It does change them. And people ask me, they go, what about Khabib? Did the fame in this guy change him? I go, absolutely. And I said, well, how? I said, it made him more generous. They're like, what? I go, yeah, made him more generous. Because now he had more to give. So now he's helping a lot of family members. He's helping a lot of people. You know, people don't even know how much this guy does for people. It's if you see the list of the people Khabib helps and what organizations he contributes to, you'll be like blown away. He is such a humanitarian, like his father was before him, that people would love him even more than they love him now if they knew what he does. They knew how he cares. They know everything, and they know how loyal he is. People would go, wow, you couldn't ask for a better son or a better father or a better husband than what he is. And devout to his religion. His religion is exactly who he is.
Okay. His father passes away. He has one more fight, I think, with Gaethje at the time, and then he retires. Did that surprise you? Is that who he is? Did you ever think he might come back? What were your thoughts about all that?
Well, I wasn't privy to that. I'm going to retire. He didn't have that conversation with me. So I'm in the cage, and he's obviously emotional, and he goes in the
camp
speech.
Looked like it was hard for him.
That camp was the worst camp in the history of Khabib camps.
Okay.
That was the number one worst camp we've ever had. Everything that went wrong. He comes in, wearing a mask, and I thought it was because of the COVID thing. And I said, and then he goes, no, coach. He takes it off. He had the mumps. His chin was all like this. I'm like, oh, crap. Now we're going to go to fight and he got the mumps. I'm like, no, man. I go, oh, when can you train? I don't know, coach. Give me a couple of days. I'll be good to go. So we train a couple of days. And he gets it again. And I'm like, shit, then all the other people get it. The other fighters get the mumps because it's very contagious. And for me, I'll never get it. I've been vaccinated for it. Most people are. In Russia, they don't vaccinate for the mumps. So everybody's getting the mumps. And I'm like going, this whole thing's horrible. So I'm trying to convince him to cancel the fight.
Cancel the fight.
Yeah, move it forward. They'll do that for you. In my mind, not really realizing that they really can't do that. It would be a disaster. But I'm thinking of my fighter. I'm not thinking about promotion. So I'm saying, let's cancel the fight. He goes, no, coach, give me time. If I don't do this by this time, then you can pull the plug. I'll go, okay, fine. But the time comes, he does fantastic. I'm like, well, okay, we can fight. No problem. Next thing you know, he breaks his toe. I'm like, for sure, cancel the fight. Again, no, please, coach, let me go, please. If I don't show you improvement by this, I promise I will continue. We'll push the fight back. And I said, okay, he's training with one shoe, so we're training kickboxing with one shoe, but he's looking good. And I'm still very skeptical because I'm all it takes is one shot, hit the toe, and oh man, the pain and, et cetera. But he said magic words that I said to myself, impossible to lose this fight. And he said, coach, my toe may be broken, but my mental is not. Bam! I said, I went into that fight so confident. I didn't care about nothing. I would the most confident I've ever been in any fight.
Even though that was the only fight without his dad there.
But no, that wasn't the only fight without his dad. It was almost every fight that when the UFC was out without his dad.
But not his dad in his life.
Dad in his life.
Yeah, and he had died a few months earlier?
I don't remember exactly when, but he had died from COVID complications.
Okay. Yeah. And he goes in and he ragdoll Justin Gaethje. I couldn't believe it because Justin Gaethje has a wrestling background, has a pedigree, he's a nasty striker. Yeah. And the talk was, okay, this is a guy who probably can wrestle with Khabib. And I couldn't believe what I was watching. Yeah. I thought he was fighting someone 2 weight divisions lighter. Yeah, he had Jordan Burroughs come and wrestle with him, and people would ask me, well, what do I think? I go, okay, are we wrestling or are we doing MMA? Because if we're wrestling, having Jordan Burroughs is fantastic, but if you're doing MMA, Khabib's a master at taking you down in MMA. And I'm telling you right now, if Jordan Burroughs goes with Khabib, he's going to get ragdolled in MMA. Right. But if Khabib went wrestling with him, well, you already know the expectation. You're talking about a 6-time world champion, one of the greatest American grapplers, of all time. So Jordan Burroughs is legit as a grappler, but as an MMA fighter, what is he? Yeah. And there's a difference. There's a difference. There's also a difference between wrestling and submission. Yes. And all the combinations and nuances. Because Khabib, he'll set you up, he'll take you down, and that'll go right into the submission. Yes. So you can train with wrestlers all you want. You can train wrestlers all you want. Khabib and them train with wrestlers. I mean, they have Olympic gold medalists they train with now on a daily basis. So when you're talking about, American style wrestling, I go, well, okay, well, what about Dagestani style wrestling? If you look at all the gold medals that Dagestan has won in the Olympics, you'll see that Dagestan has won more gold medals in wrestling than probably the whole region in Russia. So there you go. So when you talk about wrestling, don't talk to me about, I got this wrestler, I got that wrestler. You're talking Abdulmanap's legacy that he left behind of these great wrestlers already, but there happen to be MMA fighters. Right. And that comes down to mindset, I think. And I want to get into that with you. He retires at the end of the fight. You didn't see that coming. No. How did it make you feel? I was shocked. I was like, okay, what's next? Who I got to work on next? Did I talk to him about retirement? Why? No, that's not my business. That was between him and his family. To this day, I've never said why. That was his decision. He made that decision with him and his mother. His mother didn't want him to fight, and he didn't want to fight without his father's presence. That's a family thing. I'm not family like that. I'm a mentor, and I love him to death. He loves me, and we're more family now than ever. But that's an immediate family. That's not me. That my decision doesn't come into that. So I chose never to speak to him about him. I still to this day have not spoke to him about it, and I'm not going to. And at the same time, too, you hear him talk all the time. When I'm 35, that's an age that you should probably give it up. Well, he's 35. So people thinking that he's going to come back, you're dreaming. He isn't coming back because he's not breaking his mother's promise, number one. Number two, he's 35. Even if he wanted to, he won't because his mind will say no. Because his father ingrained that in his head. At 35, you'd start decline. So since a child, he's already learned that being at an age, you start declining. He doesn't want to stay around to get the damage that could happen to him. Now, that's a logical decision. We've seen 98% of all fighters, they can't stay retired, right? Because it's such a huge part of their identity that very few can literally stop. You know, Khabib's one of them, maybe GSP. I can't think of many others, you know?
Yeah,
many.
and they have good reasons for it. GSP, I just met him for the first time. What a beautiful guy. Yeah. What a beautiful guy. He has his legit reasons why he did what he did, but he came back one time to go after Michael Bisping.
See, there you go.
Then, you know, Khabib will never come back.
He's done.
He's done.
In his mind, that closed the chapter.
The only thing that at one point would be great, at one point, and I told him when he told me this one, he did tell me. He told me this last one, Coach, I'm not gonna go and basically work corners anymore. I'm not gonna be there. I'll train the guys, but my family, my families are getting older, and every week I'll be going to fights. When is it going to stop?
Or is that a way that also keeps him from even thinking about coming back? Do you think?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he was set on the not coming back.
Okay.
He was set on that. And the last time he had any idea of coming back is when we were in Abu Dhabi and Dana still kept him in the testing pool. And Khabib says, we'll see, Dana. If someone shows me something, I'll come back. And no one showed him anything impressive, so that was it. So then that was it. That was the end of the chapter there. But that was between him and Dana. It had nothing to do with my conversation. I had no input whatsoever on that because, again, that's between the father and the mother and what he wanted.
And now it's the Islam era. And Islam was training when Khabib was still training in the gym and used to say he was the only guy of anyone that could occasionally take rounds from Khabib.
Yes.
And when you saw that, that impressed you.
Well, I mean, who's going to be the next heir? Islam. And who is better suited in all departments? Islam is so incredible that we were able to change directions on him. He's so well-rounded, like on the fly. We were going into one of his fights in the UFC, the PI, right? Not the PI, the where they have the shows, the fight night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he's going to fight one of the Brazilian guys. I forgot, Moncayo? No. It's with the M. But anyways, he's going to go fight him. And with the whole plan, the plan was to stand with him. Okay, we're going to stand with him. Okay, so we're walking out. I looked at him and I said, he looks smaller. And I said to whisper to Khabib, look at him. He's not that big. I think we change the plan. We go father's plan. We go take him down. And he goes, yes, I think you're right, coach. And we tell Islam, while we're walking out, Islam, change the plan. Take him down.
And you can change it on a dime. Yeah. Not many fighters can do that.
No, because they're not good enough. He is.
Okay.
He's that well-rounded.
That was early in his career.
No, that was not early in his career. That was right before, after he beat him. I think he might have fought for the title after that fight.
Okay.
You know, or maybe one more fight after that. Man, I forget.
Is he better than Khabib?
I say no one's better than Khabib. He had more skills than Khabib, for sure. He was a better striker than Khabib. He was well-rounded, but and to me, it's the mental part that I see nobody that. And to me, this is me, not the experts. You know, they're the experts to the expert. This is coach. To me, he's the best ever
because of the mental aspect. Talk to me about the mental aspect, because you said that's the secret of success in all of your champions, the AKA. You even said earlier before we started, you said, the physical, I focus on the mental.
Yeah.
Talk about it, because most people don't understand that.
Well, the mental is, you know what, I'll use an example that people would have never thought of. John Fitch. John Fitch was one of my fighters, never got the attention, wasn't super talented whatsoever, but nobody told him. Nobody told him he couldn't be a champion. Nobody told him he couldn't do this. Nobody told him he couldn't do that. This guy was so determined, so dedicated that at one point, his only sparring partner was a one-legged guy. Yeah, John Fitch, a one-legged guy he was sparring with. That's how motivated and that's how driven he was. John Fitch was so driven that when the Ultimate Fighter came out, he was my fourth AKA guy that was supposed to go. When he was at the airport, his bags were already checked in to go. They called him and said, oh, we're not going to use you. You talk about a man that worked through everything and became a champion. He didn't have my help at all, hardly at all. He did it on his own. So I'm like thinking, if anybody you're going to be proud of, John Fitch, look what he's accomplished without the help like all these other guys got. All these other guys that became champions had me in them, working with them. I didn't work with John Fitch. Yes, I worked with him, give him advice, tell him to do this or that, but I wasn't with one-on-one with him working his mental. He had it. So did I need to help John with his mental? Him, no, because he already had it. So I already knew that. Now I'll use one person, another person that I did that became a champion because this Usman, Khabib's cousin, Nurmagomedov. Okay, I was training Usman. I see he's the most talented guy I've ever trained. The most talented. You know. And I'm like telling Khabib, "Wow, this kid's got so much talent. It's incredible." But we got one problem. I said, "I don't have him mentally. I don't have him mentally." I go, "Khabib, I need you with me. You need to help me with him. We need to build his mental. We don't have it. I cannot make a champion out of him if I don't have it mentally right."
What do you mean we don't have it? How can you tell?
Certain little things I would say, let's do this, and he wouldn't want to do it. He would be motivated to do it. And I said, okay, he doesn't really want this.
They stay in their comfort zone. They don't take advice. They don't
take advice. They do their own thing.
Okay.
And you know, they can do their own thing, but it has to work. But he wasn't highly motivated. You know, he wasn't highly motivated. When Khabib got on him, and we both got on him, then I started seeing the results, and I said, okay. So I build on it. So he does something good. I said, you see what you did right there? This is what you need to do. This is what a champion does. So I'm building his mind. Then I see something else that we're working on. I go, see what you did on that round? You did this. That's what we were working on. You see how effective it is? Now I'm working the mental. You see what I'm working the mental? So I'm getting them to, you know, or let's say he gets tired. I go, well, you got tired there. Now, why'd you get tired? Well, I didn't rest enough. I go, there you go. So had you rested like you're supposed to, like a professional supposed to, what do you think would have happened? He goes, I would have had more energy there, and you work in the mental.
Right.
You know, so those are the type of things. Another thing too, I would say things to guys. I say, look, guys, if you don't want to spar, even if you're fighting for a title fight, don't spar. If you're injured, if you got something wrong with you, tell me about it, then we'll stop. We won't let you do it unless we think the injury that you have is, we can work around it. So Usman would say to me, Coach, I'm tired. I don't feel like sparring today. I said, okay, not sparring. And he goes like this. He goes, can you tell Khabib, Coach? Because he wants me to spar. So I told Khabib, I said, Khabib, Usman not sparring. He's too tired. Okay, Coach. So Usman was using the mind. He was getting smart, because if he'd have sparred, when Khabib wanted to spar, then he was tired, because he was telling me the truth, and I knew he was telling me the truth. So I said, no, I'm not sparring. So he would do all those kind of things to me. So he became smarter and smarter. He would do things like, for instance, Khabib would tell him, go run this, go do that, go do that. And he goes, Coach, I'm tired. I don't think I want to, I think I should rest. What do you think? And I said, yeah, rest. I think you're right. Yeah, go rest. And he'd do it again. Could you please tell Khabib, because he tells me he wants me to rest. I said, okay.
Khabib was just pushing him.
I was pushing him. So I tell Khabib, and he's tired. And, you know, and so we give him the rest.
Right.
That's how I'm building his mental. Okay. See? So.
And you said a fighter will listen to you if you tell them something and then they see that it works. And a fighter will listen to you if you tell them something and it's not working, and then you quickly say, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. Right? But it's hard to get a fighter's confidence, right?
Very hard. And
you can't really be wrong many times or lose the confidence in you.
No, you cannot. I'll give you an example. Luke Rockhold, who I love to death, you know, he was difficult to show things. Like I told him one time, I go, Luke, you know, we need to learn how to fight on the inside fighting. He says to me, no, I don't need to fight on the inside. No one's going to get me in this. I go, Luke, there was a point where you need to learn how to fight on the inside. He goes, no, I don't want to fight on the inside. I said, I tried.
Was he a champ at this point? His right force champ and everything?
No, he was UFC champ.
UFC champ. He's just like, no.
He said, no, I don't want to do it. And he's fighting Michael Bisping. And he couldn't use his left leg because shin was all jacked up. Okay, he was bad shin. And I said, hey, Luke, cancel the fight. He goes, no, Michael Bisping. I'm going to whoop his ass. Because he beat him up the first time in Australia real easy, you know. But he had all his legs working. And he had everything working. I said, Luke, then you had everything working. Now you don't have your most powerful weapon is that kick other than jiu-jitsu. You got a great left kick. Super powerful, super effective. He goes, no, I'm just going to box him. I'm going to go and box him. I said, Luke, you know, I don't think it's a good idea. I think we should cancel the fight. He goes, no, you'll see. So we go into the fight. You watch the fight. Luke overshoots. He never overshoots. Luke keeps you at a distance. He overshot like this.
Right.
And as he's coming back, Bisping did the right thing. And as he's coming here, he attacked him. Boom. Landed beautiful shot.
Right.
All she wrote.
So overconfidence.
Overconfidence, not wanting to learn to fight on the inside.
Right. Okay.
Had he wanted to learn to fight on the inside, I guarantee you that wouldn't have happened to him. But that's what I'm talking about, overconfidence and where you don't listen. And I don't have to be right. You just have to be right. And when you're wrong and you get checkmated, you should have listened to the person that was giving you advice. If someone listens to me and they do a good, fantastic. If someone doesn't listen to me and they do good, fantastic. I don't care. You don't have to listen to me. You just have to win.
Right.
You know? So when you don't win and you didn't listen to the instructions and the instructions could have got you that victory, that's when it's bad. And who fails? I fail. I fail because I didn't get to my fighter. So I didn't look at them as their failure. It's my failure. And I learned this the hard way through one of my fighters, Josh Koscheck, because I used to be this Mr. Honest coach guy, and I would throw my fighters underneath the table. I would throw them on the bus, not the table. I would throw them on the bus, you know, because guys would ask me, well, blah, 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 your fighter didn't do this. I go, well, he knows what he's supposed to do. He didn't do it, you know, instead of, hey, I support my fighter, we, but I would say they didn't listen. Okay. And then Josh Koscheck would get on me. And he was so right. He was so right. He said, hey, you're not protecting us. What kind of coach are you? You know, a coach supposed to protect his fighters. And it resonated. I mean, I went, damn, he was so right. So from that point on, it's my fault. You know, the Luke thing, that's not Luke's fault. That's my fault because I didn't get to him.
Right.
You know, if you're the father and your child does something wrong, is it the child's fault? No, sure. You got to take it upon yourself. And he was so right about that. And it made me a better coach.
Okay.
Made me a better coach.
That's powerful. I remember Koscheck. I mean, with Luke, it's tricky because that ego probably got him so far, you know, but that same ego stops him from evolving.
But listen to this, okay? This is me stopping as a coach, okay? This is my failure, okay? Because I'll give you another example. With Josh Koscheck, we'll use Josh Koscheck again because when I used to have him mentally, I say we got him. He won every single fight. I would talk to the manager. I got him. We won every fight. I don't have him. We lost every fight. Every fight when I said we didn't have him, we lost. Yeah, because I didn't have him mentally. So I'll use this fight in particular. There's a fight here that Josh Koscheck was going to fight Chris Lido. Okay. Josh was getting good with the stand-up, and he wanted to stand with Chris Lido. I said, no, Josh. No, I'm going to piece him up. I go, no, you can't. The guy's too dangerous. He's a pro boxer. Look at his boxing record. He does really good. No, don't box with him. No, I'm going to box with him. I'm like, oh, man. Okay, what I got to do? I look at Chris Lido's box rec. Look at box rec. I grab these box recs. I printed out the whole thing. Koscheck is outside, you know, of the gym, you know, sitting down, and I come in. I throw the papers at him, and I walk off. He looks at me. He goes, okay, I got it. So he goes into the fight, and he decides to do what we wanted to do, use his great wrestling to dominate Chris, because Chris couldn't stop Koscheck from taking down for the life of him. Right. But the last round, Koscheck decided he was going to stand with him a little bit. He got nailed. And then he realized after that, goes, yeah, he hit me with a good shot. Man, it's a good thing I followed the plan, because that wouldn't have been too good for me. You know, the result could have been his way, but it might have been bad too. You know, so he fought perfectly. So that's what I'm talking about, the mental you worked at.
Yeah, I've had Jocko Willink on the show, and he has a concept called extreme ownership. And he just means that, you know, you need to take everything as being your fault, your ownership. So for you, if your fighter's not listening to you, the old Javier would say, he didn't listen. That's why I lost. The new Javier said, it's my responsibility to get him to listen. And so you went out of your way to find a way. In that case, it was the boxing record at the right time. Yeah. To get him to listen to you.
Yeah, because before that,
when he wins.
Yeah, before that, I was throwing him off the bus.
Right.
I would say, he knows how to leg check. We taught him. You know, Kung Lee, same thing. Said the same thing about Kung. Oh, Kung this. No, it's your fault, dummy.
Yeah.
You know, if a coach really takes ownership into that, then he'll become a better coach. If you don't, then you think it's, oh, I'm this, I'm that. If they listen to me, they'll win. No, dummy. They don't have to listen to you to win. They just have to be motivated, and they have to want to win, and you have to be behind them, supporting their decision. If they don't listen to you and they're making a decision, that if it's working, you got to support it. If it's not working, then you got to work whatever you can to try to get them to come back on course. Right. Like with Khabib, please go back to father's plan. Please, please, please. Right. Because I didn't want to take a chance. Right. So that's our job as a coach.
Right. So you have to cajole, you have to flank them. You got to find all the ways to get because you can't get through the front of the head.
Yeah.
So you got to sneak up from the back and try to get in there.
Yeah.
Ultimately, just for the win. You want the win for them.
And, you know, for me, that's why people always say, well, hey, you know, always for seminars. I don't want to do a seminar. I don't want to teach you technique. I'm not a great technician. Here. If someone says, hey, you want to...
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy.
Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.